Welcome to Blue Compass, where we are talking about the power of content audits. So when it comes to marketing, nothing beats the incredible power of a well-crafted website, but most businesses miss one really essential part when they are building a new website, which is the content audit. Auditing the old website to lay a good foundation for the new website. So today I have two members of our digital marketing team with me, Katrina and Kaylee. And let's start out with the basics. Kaylee, what is a website content audit?
Yeah, so our content audit is a process where we are examining both qualitative and quantitative aspects of various pages across your website. So we're examining key metrics like page views, keyword count, word count, organic metrics like impressions, clicks, click-through rate, and then we're also looking at those qualitative aspects like what is the content on the page, what's the intent, how does it relate to the other content on the website, and we look at that holistically to be able to then make strategic recommendations around what content can be optimized, what pages maybe can be removed, what pages can be combined, and then we're able to have that strategic and thoughtful recommendation to provide the client.
A lot of times clients wonder why we would take the time to do everything Kaylee just said on the old version of the site because it's changing, the layout's going to be different. How much can we really gain from that? But realistically, we find things that maybe we have 3 different versions of the same type of content and keywords. So let's combine those. Let's put one powerhouse page together so we can really capitalize on that topic. And we find some really good stuff when we're doing that. Even if we know the content's changing, we're able to make the content changes more impactful and more powerful from an SEO perspective.
Yeah, I really like it because it's a lot more of a data-driven approach. And so many organizations, when they build a new website, it's just kind of like, oh, I don't feel like this is a good page. Maybe this page should go over here. Maybe we could get rid of this page. And sometimes those assumptions are right and sometimes they're wrong because we often, think differently than our website visitors.
I love this process because it takes the emotion out of it. And like you said, it is very data driven we're able to look at it without those preconceived notions and those thoughts that the clients might have being closer to it. And we're able to take that step back and look at it and be much less biased about it and just present the data to them to be able to be so much more thoughtful in how we would approach a next step after that when they are building a new website.
We had a situation a couple months ago where a client wanted to remove a portion of their website. It wasn't what they thought they needed. They really just didn't think it was doing anything for them business-wise. So just axe it, don't pay attention to it. But through this audit process, we figured out that's where 2/3 of their organic traffic and keywords were coming in. So if we had just axed it because it's not the right feel, we would have lost a lot of traffic that we were really banking on with that new website. So it is very helpful to make sure we're making those strategic decisions.
And we've seen too, when you start with a content audit, like totally understanding how users are interacting with the old website, that can make the navigation, the main navigation of a new website so much more effective and so much more powerful.
Exactly. So the content architecture or that website navigation that we put together, I know that Katrina probably feels the same way. I don't like putting those together without doing the content audit first because you're missing that integral first step. It is laying the groundwork so you actually have the context to make more thoughtful and strategic decisions about how that navigation should be structured, what pages should still exist within the navigation, and have a better understanding of how users have currently been using the website and how they should be using the website going forward.
Yeah. Okay, tell us a little bit about how we do this. How does Blue Compass do a content audit? Like, what is the process like?
We like to start by exporting content from Google Analytics and from Google Search Console. So we like to go to the source. How is Google really seeing and viewing the content? And then from the analytics perspective, how are users accessing and utilizing the website? So being able to look at some of those metrics Kaylee said before, and then layering in some of those anecdotal pieces. What is the word count? Maybe we don't have keywords and we don't have organic traffic coming in because the word count's less than 300 words per page. Google's not seeing it as a credible resource. So we try to layer a lot of those components together. For some clients, they have really specific lead generation needs. Then we can also layer together what is the form, what is the user journey, how are we getting them from this page content to that CTA? And it's not necessarily the same for every client, but even if we're annotating from the page that we're auditing right now to the final destination where they could convert, it's 3 steps away. That's a pretty big gap, and that's something we want to be aware of. And when we're making that new content navigation, we can then shore up some of that gap, make sure the CTA is a little bit closer, make sure that final conversion point is more accessible throughout.
When we do this process too, I love looking at it in a spreadsheet where you can see like every page listed out, the number of words, the keywords, all details about them. And sometimes we'll show that to clients and they'll be like blown away. They had no idea this page had so much traffic, or they had no idea this page was ranking so well, or this page even existed. So it's a really great way to take a step back and look at the current website, what's working, what's not, and what can be improved.
Absolutely. Sometimes even doing the audit on sites when we're not moving to a new website. So outside of the content architecture process, we can find a lot of pages that aren't getting traffic or aren't performing. We can take those out. And now we've really optimized our crawl budget. So if we have really old blogs, for example, and maybe they're 3 years old, they're not relevant anymore, they're not garnering traffic, nor are they doing us any favors from an organic perspective, let's use the audit to figure that out, get rid of the right pieces. And now when Google's crawling our site, they're crawling the quality pages we want them to crawl. And that really helps improve performance too, even without doing a full content arc or a redesign.
Can you think of any surprise or unusual findings that a website audit like this can deliver that maybe you didn't anticipate?
One that's coming to mind, even as we recently were looking at our navigation, we had a couple pages that team members thought was really important to get in the main navigation. They felt they weren't being found, and we started to look at, okay, how easy are they to find right now? There's so many factors you're looking at with that, but we actually decided to keep the pages out of the main navigation based on the current visibility. They're not getting the clicks even though they're highly visible. So why are we going to continue to give them that prominence on the new site?
Yeah.
So we found some things like that. We've also had clients find sections of the website they maybe forgot or neglected for a little bit. So that's always a fun treasure hunt when we find those.
I think it just starts really good conversations with the client when you are reviewing it, because they are surprised by a lot of what they see, and maybe pages that they thought were more important or drove maybe more traffic or had more value maybe aren't, and it'll be a really good enlightening opportunity for them to reframe what content should have the highest focus, or maybe what content users are finding the most valuable, even if the client themselves doesn't see it as being that valuable.
Yep.
So it just starts with really good conversations, whether they are going into a new website or not, or they're just looking to improve the content on their website. This is a great first step in opening up the door to have those discussions.
We had a client recently who figured out they have a lot of duplicate content across their site because they've got a sales team who has input on what's on their website, and they have a marketing team that has input. And so each department had results that were fairly similar. We weren't getting the results we wanted from Google because they were splitting the traffic between those two pages. And the content audit did help us identify that and give them a clear roadmap of how can we consolidate key pages to have even better content and make it easier for the user to decide which of these do I need. One option makes it a lot smoother.
Yeah. How does the digital marketing team at Blue Compass work with the development team at Blue Compass when it comes to either doing an audit or implementing the changes?
One thing that I love about how close our teams work together, the development team actually helped us automate the process of the content architecture. So when we're looking at a website, we're able to take things out of the database. It's just really smooth when somebody is in the Slate content management system for us to do this process. We can do it for other content management systems as well. But then on the back end of what comes out of this, we have the ability to lay out the 301 redirect map directly from this. It can be uploaded right on launch day. There's a lot of pieces of the process that are simplified when we add these two steps to the beginning, even that help the development team because we have all of these pages strategically mapped. We've got them all in the right templates. It helps with the QA process because we know exactly where we're going with that. And that is one of the benefits of having a really technologically savvy development team and then a digital marketing team supporting those new websites and making sure we aren't just thinking about all of the coding, all of the CMS is really SEO friendly, but we're taking that extra layer from that QA process when we add these on top.
Yep.
I love how closely integrated we are with the development team in this process too, and how we do a lot of things in tandem, and then we do a lot of handoffs with them throughout the process. So we do the content audit first, And then ideally that would move into a content architecture before we go into homepage and web page design. And so having that really well thought out content architecture is going to make it so our design team is able to put together a really great homepage and navigation design that's not just user friendly, but is also friendly to search engines, which is ultimately what we want. We want the website to be able to be more crawlable and more user friendly. And so being able to work with them throughout that process and have good discussions with them. If there is something that might be a design pain point, we're able to talk through those things because we do work with them every step of the way.
Yeah.
And if you're a visual person, when you're getting those designs and your navigation's already built into it, it's easier for you to connect with that design. It's easier for you to make some quality decisions on, is this working for me, when it's not always placeholder text too.
Yeah. This is one of the areas I think, unbiasedly, that Blue Compass shines. Like, we have a really great process for this. This is essentially a proprietary process. But even if you don't work with Blue Compass, I think anyone, it would be beneficial for them to at least go into their analytics and get some data and information before you build that new website. You might have some good insights as to how people use your website, but like you said, Kaylee, like, emotion can always come into it. We don't always think the same as our audience does, so it's really helpful to get a little data at least.
Absolutely.
And often even if you do go into your Google Analytics on a regular basis and you might be well versed in how pages are performing from that perspective, it's crucial to look at those qualitative aspects as well and not just look at the numbers, but also look at what is the user seeing? How is that affecting their journey? And pairing that together to make your decisions, because otherwise you can be doing it kind of going in blind if you are only looking at one piece of it, because it is so integrated. Those pieces work together to be able to make a quality web page, a quality website.
Yep.
And when you're looking at analytics, what are you looking at? You're looking at the top results.
Yeah.
You're never looking at what's on the other end of that, because I'm not clicking through at least to find 10 pages of results and seeing what's at the bottom. So it also gives you that other perspective of, what is it maybe time to cut loose so we can have the right pages in the right places.
Katrina, Kaylee, thank you for your expertise and your insights. And if you need help looking at your website, if you're thinking about building a new website, if you would like a content audit, we would be happy to help you. This is a process we've done many, many times before, and it really helps lay a solid foundation. Don't hesitate to reach out to us. Thanks, and we'll talk to you next time.